So, pan the audience. Oh my lord.
It's really hard, huh?
It is hard trying to figure out if it's facing you or not.
I know.
Okay, so when I think of America, I think of that diversity that started this whole country. Numbers and numbers of immigrants came across the ocean to build their lives here, joining hand in hand with the Indians, um, learning their ways, accepting everyone that was there. And, obviously it wasn't always a pretty picture. We had issues with the Pilgrims and the Indians not getting along at first, issues with slavery years down the road, and then we had issues with racism, which unfortunately still goes on today. But all of that is the foundation of America, the diversity that comes from the immigrants. So what I'm starting to see as a growing issue is that there are companies who pay to bring over immigrants while we still have a decently high unemployment rate here in the US. And I ran across an article by a company called Nolo, Nolo, and their article had my blood flowing. It was like a go-to site for employers to go to and figure out how to get these people brought over, what they can expect to get out of it. And I mean, I understand that sometimes the right person isn't out there for the job, but what I don't understand is how they don't bother waiting to see if a person is out there within the US and they just hire straight out of the US.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people who are looking for work and unable to obtain it, either because the qualifications are impossible to meet or because they're not given the chance. And these American jobs are just handed out to them. There was a CNN Money article that talked about these companies abuse the H-1B visas lottery system. Some of these companies abuse the power of the laws that, they're supposed to be following and upholding to show an example. But it's not just the one job that they're actually taking away from Americans. It's actually multiple. With these specific visas, once those are expired, they then send them over to tech companies. So then there's another company that the immigrants are taking jobs from. I feel like I'm getting a little word twisted up. But
I did that too.
But think of the homeless that we have on the streets, the veterans that we see all these stories about them on the streets. They're looking for work, and with the immigrants coming in, that's taken away from them. That's taken away from the ability to hire our, nationalized citizens. So these companies are not only giving handouts, they are also cheating the system. If they bring in a dozen immigrants to fill positions within their company, they are essentially hiring them at a minimum wage, which realistically doesn't pay for much because of the cost of living. And because of this, they can write it down on their documents so that in the end, when it comes to tax season, they're not paying as much taxes as they were with local. Now it's working. Last year alone, immigrants had a better opportunity to receive a U.S. job than an American. And off of the U.S. Department of Labor, they pulled statistics, and last year alone, foreign-born workers were more likely than native-born workers to be employed in service occupations. So that's production, transportation, material-moving companies. Just to show the difference of what the work field looks like between U.S.-born and immigrants. So, you know, as I mentioned before, America was founded or built on immigrants. So I'm not saying that I'm against immigrants, but I think that because it is such a huge debacle, I feel that there are a lot of people who are still very unaware of the matter. And while U.S. born workers without high school education, those numbers are dwindling down. The numbers of immigrants with the same amount of education is actually increasing. So it's not really about what they're capable of doing in a line of work. It's just getting them over here to benefit from the fewer taxes that these companies have to pay.
Right.
And all it takes for U.S. born people to acquire these jobs is getting a high school diploma and maybe some college. I feel like maybe there should be a memo out there to inform everybody, this is what's expected of you. I mean, I know it's kind of a given, right? But I feel like maybe having something specifically quoting all of that. So that's my speech. I'm hoping it's an eye-opener for people in hopes that we can change the matter a little bit. And yeah.